1 is number 1 once again. Hello humans, my name is KO Overload, and boy oh boy do I have some mind-blowing stuff for you today. Because yes, after crowning 1.2.1, our new video and text-to-image AI king, out of nowhere, the new 1.2.2 models just dropped. A brand new series of uncensored open source text-to-video, image-to-video, and text-to-image models that just destroyed everything. I'm talking better motion, better style, better quality, just better in every single way. These models are incredible, and today I will show you how to install everything either locally or on RunPod right now. So that being said, sit back, relax, and let's go. And to install 1.2.2 you have two ways. The first is of course by using my Kling installer that is available for my Patreon supporters. Just download the file onto your computer, then double click it. It will then ask you what amount of GPU VRAM you have. If you have less than 12 gigabytes, you're gonna choose option number 1. If you have between 12 and 24 gigabytes, you're gonna choose option number 2. And if you have more than 24, like a 5090 for example, you're gonna choose option number 3. And yes, this is probably one of the first time when I recommend people with 24 gigabytes of VRAM to not choose option number 3 and choose option number 1 or number 2 instead, because these are very big models that requires a lot of VRAM to use. So to make sure that you don't run out of VRAM and that the generation are as fast as possible, just download one of these two models instead. But don't worry, you're not gonna lose much on quality of the generation. But of course, if you want, you can just download this model instead. It's gonna work either way, but it might be a little slower. But for this example, I'm gonna choose option number 3 and then press enter. And then it's gonna download and install ComfyUI and all the models that you need to run 1.2.2 automatically. You don't need to do anything. And once you are inside ComfyUI, do not forget to update it to the latest version. But once it's done, for this video, I prepared a special 1.2.2 workflow. Then you can find it on my Patreon. So just download the file and then drag and drop it inside ComfyUI. And there you go. And if you want the manual installation guide, the link for it will be in the description down below. Okay, now we can finally have some fun. Okay, so before I actually start explaining and showing you all the different workflows, what exactly makes this 1.2.2 model so special? Well, first of all, one actually released 3 different models. The first is a 27 billion parameter text to video model. The second is a 27 billion parameters image to video model. And the third one is a 5 billion parameter model, which can do both text to video and image to video at the same time. Now, I'm not going to talk about the 5 billion parameter model right now, because it is actually less interesting and less powerful than the 27 billion parameter models. Now, notice how I said that it is a 27 billion parameter model. So then why is it written 14 billion right here? Well, that's because these models were actually created using the MOE architecture, meaning that instead of having an entire one big 27 billion parameter model, they're actually separating them in half into 2 models each. We have a high noise model and a low noise model, which will actually work inside the same workflow, one after the other. The first is gonna create the movement, it's gonna create the basic composition, and the other model, the low noise one, will actually denoise the entire composition and make it more beautiful, which is really cool, because if they kept it at a one single 27 billion parameter model, absolutely no one would be able to run it on their local GPU. But separating it in 2 different models of 14 billion parameter each, just like the 1.2.1, makes it possible to run it on consumer grade GPU. So that is really just amazing. Which means that basically inside the same exact workflow, you will see here 2 different models. The first is the high noise model and the second is the low noise model, which might make the overall basic workflow much bigger than usual. But don't worry, the principle is always the same. Now, once again, if you've never used one of my workflows before, they all work pretty much the same way. Here, every single workflow is separated into what exactly you want to do. Next to each workflow, you have this little button that allows you to activate it or deactivate it, and everything that you need to change will be always located on the left hand side. And I always put a little bit of explanation and notes of what each option do. But don't worry, I'm gonna show you everything step by step so that you don't feel lost. And as you might have seen, in this entire workflow you have actually 2 sides. The first is the image generation side, because yes, you can actually just generate absolutely amazing images with 1.2.2, just like with my previous video, and with the same exact model, you can generate a video instead. So really, these models are just amazing and extremely versatile. Okay, so although everything should be fairly straightforward, because I have pretty much already talked about this before, so they should already know how to use all of these workflows, I will still go through each one of these workflows and explain exactly what they do and how to use them. So maybe let's start with simple image generation, and then we can move on to video generation. So here, 2.2 text to image. You're gonna activate the workflow, make sure that you have selected the correct models for your GPU, and make sure that the first model is high noise and the second one is low noise. So maybe let's start with image generation first, and then we're gonna continue with video generation. Okay, so let's start with the basic text to image. Okay, so first you're gonna choose the correct model that was downloaded for your GPU. The first one is gonna be the high noise model, and the second one should be the low noise model. So the way this works is that basically, first of all, the high noise model is gonna run, and this is the model that is responsible for creating the entire outline of the video or the image, whereas the low noise model will then come to denoise the entire composition to create the final image or video. And these two models working together, one after the other, is the real true innovation with these 2.2 models. So in here, this is where you choose the right LoRa for the high noise model, and this is where you choose the LoRa for the low noise model. Now, I do have some good and bad news. The first piece of good news is that the previous 2.1 LoRas will work with 2.2, where, well, at least more or less. Now, the reason why it will work is because the 2.2 low noise model is basically the normal 2.1, but slightly fine-tuned, meaning that 2.1 LoRas will work on that particular model. However, this is not the case with the high noise model. This is the brand new model that is completely different from low noise. Previous 2.1 LoRas will not work, meaning that if you want the best results possible, you might have to retrain a LoRa not only for the high noise model, but maybe also for the low noise model as well. Because even though low noise is pretty much the same as 2.1, it's still a little bit different, that you might want to retrain a whole LoRa on this model alone. So this is a really bad news, because I don't know how this entire training will go. For now, we still don't know if there is a way to make it a little bit more, efficient, but for now it is what it is. And if there is any update, I will definitely make a video on that. Now, the other piece of good and bad news is that since most 2.1 LoRas work with the low noise model, you can actually use special speed up LoRas with the low noise model to make the generation faster. And if you watch my previous video on the subject, you would know these LoRas very well. The first is called Fusion X, and the other one is called Light X2V. And there is actually a bunch of LoRas for this. There is even Fast 1 or different versions, different ranks of the Light X2V, but then that also means that currently there are no speed up LoRas for the high noise model. Hey guys, it's me from the future. I am currently editing this video. I am basically almost done when I saw a few hours ago that the special Light X2V for 2.2 was just released, which is basically like the super speed up LoRa that allows you to generate images and videos with only 4 steps. And now it is available for 2.2, which is absolutely amazing. And thanks to KGI, we already have the compatible LoRas that we can use right now. And I've been testing them for the last few hours, and they work really well. Like, this was generated in only 4 steps, which is really just amazing. As well as videos like these that were also generated in only 4 steps, which is really super impressive. However, you will see that during the video I mention these LoRas, and you will see that those parameters are also, a little bit different. So basically, during the video, don't pay too much attention into the parameters that you will see right there, because I will already have updated the workflow and the installers to include these LORAs inside the workflow, but don't worry because the rest of the video is like exactly the same. You really don't need to change anything for the parameters, everything was already tested and selected for you. All the best parameters will already be done for you. So basically you don't need to change anything. And I will put like a bunch of notes so that you understand what you need to do or not. Like the only thing that you need to do, for example, is to not use these Mac cache optimization. They don't work well right now when combined with these LORAs, so definitely disable this option for now. It might come useful in a few days or in a few weeks once Mac cache updates their nodes to include 1.2.2, but for now just disable this option whenever you use the LORAs. And also another thing that I need to add is that unfortunately these LORAs are only for text to video. They can only be used to either generate images or generate videos. So if you want to do image to video, as I will show you later in the video, you cannot use them. So for now, we basically need to wait until they once again update the repository with the image to video instead. It might be soon, it might be in a few days, but for now we need to wait. And once we have confirmation and once they release the model, I will once again update the workflow on my Patreon as well as the installer, and I will make a post on Patreon announcing that now you can use the image to video LORAs to speed up the workflow. But for now you just need to sit back, relax and wait for the new models. Okay, so that being said, let's get back to the video. So the next, here you're gonna input your prompt. Here you have a bunch of parameters. I highly suggest to not touch any of them. These are the perfect parameters that I found after doing a bunch of testing, and I highly recommend to not touch them. And then here, of course, you just input the resolution of your image. Now, these were all the main parameters that you can use and change if you want to. And the additional optional parameters, you have here the Mac cache that will make your generation almost twice as fast, depending on your GPU. Then you have film grain that will actually just add a thin layer of a film grain on the image to make it more realistic if you're creating a photo, for example. And then you have the sharpening tool right here that will sharpen the overall image and make the details pop. And well, that's pretty much it. It's pretty easy to use. So, like for example, if I enable all of these LORAs and I put this really cool prompt that I found, if now I click run, and in the end I get something like this. A very cool like looking picture of this very intricate porcelain doll with flowers, and I mean this looks really good. This is fantastic. I mean the details of the image, of the picture, everything is just top notch. And you can play with the parameters a little bit, and you can create very different pictures by just playing with the strength of the speed up LORAs. So if I put like 0.8 for both and I'll click run, which gives us something like this, which is, I mean, really good, very different. Not sure about the orientation of the image, but hey, at least it looks really good. And you can even use Light 2X alone to make really realistic photos. Like if I write this prompt and then I click run, and you get something like this. I mean, once again, if you watched my previous video on the 2.1, I already told you that this was the best text to image model right now. And well, the 2.2 just make it even better. Simple as that. And by using different combination of LORAs, you can make it either more realistic or less realistic and stylized, depending on what you're looking for. I mean, once again, it's pretty straightforward. It's really up to you to decide what kind of results you want to achieve. And I can tell you, with the right LORAs, you can pretty much do everything. 2.2 is really that powerful. And this is just text to image. There is a whole lot of other things to try. Okay, so now that we did text to image, let's do the same but for image to image. Now this time it's fairly similar to the 2.1. And the reason why is because using the high noise model does not work very well. And that is because the high noise was created to generate the outline of an image. It's not supposed to denoise it. The low noise model, this is what you need, this is what you want to use to transform an image into another one. Hence why in this image to image workflow, we are using only the low noise model. But don't worry, it still works really well. And also, it is completely compatible with 1.2.1 LORAs. And once again, these are the same exact parameters, same exact thing. Then if I run this prompt, then use a fairly high denoise value, maybe something like 0.8. I want to keep the same exact image size, so I'm gonna disable this. Use this image that we just created, and now if I click run, and you get something like this. Once again, a really cool, nice picture. It has taken elements from our base picture to create the new one, and obviously the higher the denoise value, the more different the image will be. So it's kinda up to you to play a little bit with the denoise value and see what you like. The higher the denoise value, the more different it's gonna be, and the lower the value, the less different it's gonna be. And you can really do some really cool pictures just by using a single image as a base. So yeah, once again, really cool. However, we can make an image even better using this super image upscaler. Once again, it is pretty much the same as the last video. You input your image, you choose the denoise value, maybe something like 0.2. You input the same prompt that was used to create this image, and now if I click run, and in the end it gives you something like this. An image with a lot more details. If you compare it to the first one, this is the before and this is the after. As you can see, there are now way more details, it is way more precise, while still keeping the same exact composition and style. So yeah, once again, pretty straightforward, and it's really super useful. But if you don't want to wait for the entire upscaler to do its work, you can simply use the simple upscaler instead, which really takes like a few seconds. Just select your upscaler, the factor. Here I want to upscale it by 2 times. And this is what I get in the end. We went from a 1080p image to a 4K image without losing a single details. And here you have 2 additional options to apply a film grain. If you already had a previous image before and you just want to add more grain to the image, well, you can simply use this option. It takes like a few seconds. It gives you like this grain on the image that makes it a little bit more like realistic, and you can of course increase like the value to get an even stronger effect. So it's kind of up to you to play a little bit with the values to get the results that you want. And then here, a new thing is that it allows you to add sharpening to an already existing image. So like here, for example, like this is the before and this is the after. As you can see now, it has a little bit more sharper edges. You can see a little bit more of the details on the skin, on the clothes, on the hair, and it just makes the details pop a little bit more than before. So yeah, there you go. The option is already here for you to use whenever you want. Okay. So now that we've done the very simple image generation, the very straightforward one, let's talk about video generation. Oh yeah, and that is really cool. Now in terms of workflow, it is once again pretty much the same thing. I made it so that if you already used one, you know how to use the others, except that this time we're not generating one image, we are generating more. And here once again I have input all the best values for you to use. If you don't want to touch anything, you can leave it as is. Hey guys, it's me from the future again. I'm re-recording this entire part because, I mean, this guy was speaking absolute garbage, because since we have the new LORAs, I have played with them and generated a bunch of really cool looking videos. And I also discovered that for the text to video generation, I actually prefer not using the special 4 steps LORA for the high model, because it actually really destroys the whole movement. So it is actually better to just disable the LORA section for the high noise model and just use the 4-step LORA for the low model, because this way you can actually generate some very high quality videos with a lot of movement, a lot of details, with the same amount of steps, using only the lighting LORA for the low model instead of using the lighting LORA for both models. Like for example, this is a video made with only one LORA for the low model, and this is the video made with 2 LORAs at the same time. So it's like not as good, like there are less movement, it's less regular. It also feels like there are less details compared to this one, for example, which is, you know, feels a little bit more realistic. But I mean, you know, if you want to use it, it's fine. You can just, you know, enable it right here. but it just feels like it is not working as well for the high model. So for just text to video generation, I would recommend just leaving once again the default parameters that I will put in the workflow and not use the LoRa with the high model, because even without that you could still generate this video with only 4 steps, which is really just insane. It's amazing. It's just, so yeah, there you go. So back to the video. But these are really the best parameters that I found that worked to get the best results possible. I mean, this is really, really good. However, the problem is that personally, when it comes to text to video, I'm not a big fan of text to video. I always feel like you are waiting very, very long for something you don't really have a lot of control on. Hence why I prefer the image to video workflow instead. Because with this workflow, you can actually just use an image that was already generated somewhere else, either with one on the left side or with another model in a completely different workflow. And you can make it move in a way that has never been done before, because 1.2 is amazing for image to video. The kind of quality that you can expect is just insane. And the way to do this is, once again, you're gonna input your prompt with the kind of movement that you want your character to do. Then you input an image of your character. I've chosen like this character of this girl mouse in front of a computer, and then I asked her to basically put her hands together in front of the screen, and now if I click run, I get something like this. I mean, this is really amazing. I mean, the quality of the animation, everything is respected, and it's just, it's insane. Like, I've never seen movement like that made with a free open source image to video model. I mean, this is incredible. Even 2.1 couldn't do movements as natural as these. This is really, really good. And I mean, yeah, once again, you can also use like the speed of LoRa, even with a very low resolution video, if I click generate. And in the end, we get something like this. Something that is still really, really decent. I mean, we still have a lot of movement, even with using the light speed LoRa. So my advice is just to first use with the LoRa activated with the default values, and then try out without LoRa to see the difference. So yeah, once again, even something like that was generated fairly quickly. Now, image to video is pretty good, but you might also say that it doesn't give you enough control. It would be much better if you could actually generate a video between 2 frames. And that is what the frame to frame workflow is for. So once again, it's pretty much the same exact thing as with image to video. You input your prompt, your parameters, except that here, instead of inputting one image, you're gonna input the beginning frame and the end frame of your video. So like, for example, I have these 2 images right here. The first is the first image that you saw before, the mouse girl in front of the computer typing on the keyboard. And the second one is the mouse girl in front of the keyboard with a, a very happy expression, I suppose. And now if you actually just leave everything by default, in the end you get something like this. An animation of, basically an in-between between the first frame and the last frame right here. And as you can see, everything is preserved perfectly. The motion is great. The images is great. Even like the spillage is, it's doing really, really well. And I mean, yeah, this is really super practical. If you have like 2 images that you want to animate between, well, you can use this workflow to do that. And the motion is really super impressive. Now, another thing that you can also do is to upscale a video to make it, higher resolution. For this, you can use the video upscale workflow. Let's say I decide to use like this video that we created in the image to video workflow. If now I want a higher resolution, I can just, leave everything by default, or even use like a different upscaler, since this is like an anime style. Maybe this could work better. If now I click run, which in the end gives us something like this. A very high resolution video, 1080p, so like this is the before, 720p video, to now a 1080p video. And yeah, I mean, this looks much, much better. Definitely way sharper than before. But we're still not done, because we can actually interpolate the video even further to make it even smoother. So now we have like a 24 FPS video, and I want to make it into a 48 FPS video instead. So now with the multiplayer at 2, I'm just gonna click run, which in the end gives us something like this. A very smooth playing video at 48 frames per second, full HD. All of that done locally with one 2.2. I mean, this is really just amazing. We went from a single image to a 720p running video at 24 FPS to a full HD video to now a full HD video at 48 FPS. Just that's beautiful, I gotta say. Absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I mean, as you can see with this workflow, 1.2 is really showing its true colors. But don't worry, even if you don't have a powerful GPU or no GPU at all, you can still rent a GPU for a few cents an hour on a website like RunPod and run 1.2 as if this was running on your local computer. So if you don't have an account already, you can click the link in the description down below and create a new account. Then you're gonna click on pods, and then here you're gonna choose a GPU with at least 24 GB of VRAM, like a 4090 for example. Then here, you're gonna click change template and search for Interpolation, and you're gonna choose the Comfy UI template. Then here you're gonna click edit template. Then you're gonna change for both container disk and volume disk, something like 200 GB. Then you're gonna click set overrides, scroll down, and then click deploy on demand. Then you're gonna click my pods, and then wait until the pod is ready. And once this is done, you're gonna click on connect, and things have changed a little bit. So first you're gonna click here, click on the manager, and then first you're gonna update everything using this button. And if you want to see the progress of this update, all you have to do is just click here, go inside the logs folder, click on terminal, and then copy and paste this line. That will allow you to see the progress of the entire update. Oh, and also let me just change the theme to dark. Much better. Then you're gonna wait until everything is updated, and once the update is done, you're gonna go back, click restart, press OK, and once you see the local URL, now you can go back to workspace, inside Comfy UI, and then here, if you are one of my Patreon supporters, this installation will be very easy for you because I prepared a special one-click installer. Then you can just drag and drop it inside the workspace right here, then click a new tab, click on the terminal icon, and then copy and paste these two lines of code that you will find in the Patreon post, and then press enter. And then it's gonna download and install all the nodes and models that you need to run 1.2 on the RunPod. You don't need to do anything. And then once everything is downloaded and ready, you can go back to Comfy UI, and then here click restart, click OK, then wait until everything is ready. Then you're gonna refresh with F5 on your keyboard, and then you're gonna drag and drop the workflow inside Comfy UI, and there you go. Simple as that. Oh, and also don't forget that I provide priority support for my Patreon supporters, so if you have any question whatsoever, do not hesitate to send me a DM, and I will try to answer your question as soon as possible. And there you go. This has been 1.2. And as I said, with my workflow, 1.2 really shows its true colors. It is definitely the best model that has ever been created. The best text-to-image model, the best text-to-video model, and the best image-to-video model. It is an all-around victory, and I personally had a lot of fun trying to use this new model. And I am sure that you will too. Oh, and by the way, if you're asking, I didn't talk about this in this video because it's fairly obvious that if 1.2.1 was completely uncensored with the corresponding LORAs, 1.2.2 is of course even better. So I think that with the right LORAs, you will be able to generate and animate whatever you want with insane precision. So as always, definitely try this out yourself and have some fun. And there we have it, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you also so much to my Patreon supporters for supporting my videos. You guys are absolutely awesome. You people are the reason why I'm able to make these videos, so thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.